We all have a story to tell, and we are all stories to be told. A very lovely afternoon from the Hideout Podcast. My name is Omboi, and ukiniona hapa, unajua I have amazing guests in the studio today. So I would love for them to introduce themselves, and then we'll pick it from there. Maybe we can start from here. Ladies first. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you so much, Omboi. I'm Eunice from Family Bridge of Hope, a team lead of the organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karibu sana, Eunice.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Tony Tati. I'm the programs coordinator at Family Bridge of Hope. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm very humbled and happy to have you here. And I was telling them I love the name of the organization. I would love for them to tell us more about Family Bridge of Hope. Maybe they can tell us more about it and why family and where are we bridging this hope. Yes.
Okay. Family is our interventions. I focused on the family. We believe that when families are stronger, communities are stronger, nations are stronger, the world is stronger. The bridge is us. So the organization is the bridge. And we don't look at us ourselves as a bridge. We believe in organizations working together to strengthen the bridges so that when we speak about the hope, families can move forward with hope. And they believe that by holding their hands, they can be able to do anything. So that is what we believe in. So our programs are focused on family strengthening so that each individual within the household becomes resilient, from the oldest to the youngest, and that they have abilities to be able to confront the challenges of today and the challenges of tomorrow with hope. Yeah, that is who we are.
Talking about the challenges of today and tomorrow, and just giving the community a chance for them to be resilient. We're talking about Menstrual Health Day.
Yes.
Because that is the theme for this year. Maybe you can tell us more about the theme for this year.
Yeah, thank you so much. The theme of this year is together in a period-friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period-friendly world.
Period-friendly world. Yeah.
Maybe what does that look like for you, because in this podcast we love talking about our lived realities and experiences. Maybe you can just take us back, maybe to your first day having your periods. How was it for you, and what do you know now that maybe you wish you would have known then? Maybe not to make things better, but just would have made a difference then.
Yeah, there are so many things I've learned from the past until now. Then, if I can just give an experience of the first day.
Yes, please.
Previously it was taken to be a taboo. Communicating issues of menses were taboo. You could not even face your parents or someone next to you that I'm going through this. Yeah. So it was hectic, but I thank God I've learned like communication is one of the key. You communicate. Then the education. We need to start early educating like the young ones as early as 9 years, 10 years, 11 years. We need to make these things to be like they know how to handle when it comes at a younger age. We don't wait for them to learn by themselves because learning by themselves will cause them harm. And again, they will want to dig into deeper into this. So for me, what I can say, for period-friendly world, we need to start this conversation with these young girls at the age of 9, 10, 11. We give them the education, how it happens, when it comes, how you can handle it, on the issues of using the sanitary towels. Because then we could not even afford the issues of sanitary towels. They were not there. Actually, people used to use blankets, clothes, cut clothes, in families. But nowadays, there's some maybe involvement, like imejulikana, like watu imekuja, tume-evolve. We can get the sanitary towels. Yeah, they can be donation from maybe friends, organizations. Yeah. So for me, most important thing, we need to start early education on these young ones.
And I love that you have mentioned something to do with having that conversation from Kitambo, because I asked that question about menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. And as I had put that, somebody commented and said they also wish that we had these conversations earlier on, because anasema kama yeye, like she had older sisters and siblings, but they didn't even talk about it with her. So alikuwa shule, and then things happened for her. And then that is now from that time, like they started now having conversation with her then. But she was just telling me she wished that maybe they had that conversation earlier on. Maybe that will have made maybe a difference maybe during that particular time.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe Tony, coming to you, because Eunice has mentioned to do with having these conversations and engaging young people. What do you think is the role of boys and men when it comes to these conversations? Because when you're talking about community, because your organization is very much about community and bringing people together, how does that look like in the involvement of men and young men and boys in these conversations?
Let me say this. Previously, you'll never find men seated or boys seated discussing about men's sex.
Sure.
Because we do not undergo this biological process.
We
don't understand.
It's like
We do not understand how painful it is.
Yeah.
So for us, it's not even, we don't call it a lived experience. My take is this, that boys and men need to be part of the conversation.
the journey.
Not even part of, the integral part of the conversation. They're supposed to be the support structures. For example, in a household where mama or sister is undergoing that period, we need to step up. We need to step up and not step in, step up.
Step up.
Because that period comes with a lot of challenges. There is pain. You hear someone talk about cramps. You see mood swings. There is less engagement in the day-to-day activities. Some women don't even go to work. Girls cannot play in school. Some miss school, so to speak.
Yes.
In the school, where we also have male teachers and boys, the conversations need to be taken there, because this is very important. And for me, I'd say this, the gaps that we need to address, we need to address them intentionally. Being intentional is one of the things that has been lacking. Two, period or menstrual period does not need to be treated as a shame, but as a process. And at that moment, boys and men need to dignify the girls and women. So it is supposed to be us supporting the girls and the women so that they go through this process without stigma, without shame, with dignity, with a lot of strength. And because it comes month after month, that is why I said we need to step up. We need to have these conversations. Where does it start? That's my household. I need to discuss. Like for me, I always talk. I always have this conversation with Eunice about my daughter. When we go to the supermarket, like if there's a shopping list, at the top is the sanitary pad. But beyond the sanitary pad is the conversation.
The conversation.
The message that must accompany the sanitary pad.
Yes, please.
That is what has been lacking. So menstrual hygiene mostly has been commodified, for lack of a better word. That when Wamboi comes and donates pads and we clap, that is the end of the story. Like Yoni said, we need to have these conversations. So as men, like I said, we need to be the support structures. We need to walk the journey with girls and women. But we start at the household. to the schools, to the community spaces, in the churches. It's never easy to find people at the pulpit talking about menstrual hygiene.
True.
And this is where we need to take this conversation. It's likely for us, male engagement is one of the things that we do. Whether we are talking about gender-based violence, men suffer in silence. And probably it is also important that the parts, the access, the availability, the affordability of these commodities finds space within the male conversations as we move forward. That way, we'll be able to break the barriers, ensure that we are part and parcel of the journey towards equality. Because when we talk about a menstrual-friendly world, it means there are inequalities that we need to tackle. So for us, men need to work with the girls and the women. The boys need to work with the girls and the women side by side when they're undergoing this. By so doing, we'll then now talk about equity. We'll talk about breaking barriers. We'll talk about moving towards an equitable world where all girls and women are able to enjoy the support they require when they are undergoing their menses. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That is so profound. And I love that you have mentioned your daughter somewhere. And we'll still come back to dignity. And we'll also come back to access, affordability, and availability. I keep missing the availability. I don't know why I keep missing availability. But my question will be, maybe Tony, for you, back to you. What, aside from your daughter, what changed about maybe how you viewed these conversations revolving around menstrual health?
I grew up in a family where 7 siblings, 4 brothers. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And I'm the middle born. So these are things I could see. When you talk about cramps and how my sisters used to recoil in a corner, take water, miss meals, cry. This is like, at that point in time, I was still growing and I used to know what to do. Because nobody told me what to do when such things happen. Now I know. Now I know because I engage in conversations. It's what I do. For me, I normally say, even when we are having discussions with young girls and even women, I also come in and I tell them, mimi nimeleta umama in this conversation, so that they can allow me be part of the conversation. I learn by listening, by understanding the journey they go through, so that the lessons I pick, I'm able to take them to other girls and other women in the community, of course, starting with my household.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love that. I love that also that, you got to engage and to interact with this kind of conversation from earlier on. Maybe back to you, Eunice, because you are the one who came up with the point of having these conversations. Do you think we're having enough of these conversations? Because I was on Twitter, I think last week, and then there's a guy who asked Aki, and his direct tweet, he said, Aki namsinirushie mawe. Let me just ask, why is it different for girls? Like he was asking, I think what he was trying to understand is, how is peeing different from periods? I think that is what he was trying to understand.
Yes.
And then so people are trying to explain to him, and then other men were like, well, gopi, our feminists, watakuingilia. And, the conversation was going on. And it really got me interested to know, are we having enough conversations when it comes to just menstrual period and menstrual health? Are we having enough of those conversations? It's okay that, even men are they're also getting involved in these conversations. The way Tony has said that your organization has the male engagement conversations. But are we having enough of these conversations?
No, I don't think we are having enough of the conversation, because these issues and matters keep on recurring. Like you find in maybe each year we celebrate menstrual health hygiene. We speak of the same taboos. We speak of the same stigmas. So I think we need to have more of a conversation towards the menstrual hygiene. Yeah, starting with the Tony, just the way Tony has said, starting with the households, then maybe the little groups or whatever, like when someone is on a group or having a conversation.
Yeah.
We need to have this conversation like frequently, daily. We don't wait for the event day or towards event is when we communicate the side effects and the hygiene and how it happens. We need to start, the conversation should continue, for us to create more of awareness. Yeah.
Because we need to bring these conversations down to the community and for people to really understand why these conversations are important.
Yeah.
Now, talking about these conversations they have gone, what is the reality of young women and girls in the community? Because your organization is working with the community. What is the reality, lived reality and experiences of young women and girls in the community?
The lived and the reality that is in the community, these things are not accessible. That is one. They're not accessible.
Back to Tony's point of accessibility
availability and affordability. Yeah, they're not accessible. Because you find there's a program which was taken to school that you give a pad a girl, or you give girls pads within the schools.
Yeah.
But you find that in a household, we have 3 or 4 girls. One is in grade 4. They start giving at grade 5, 6 onwards. And you find a girl starting her menses at grade 4. This one amekuwa excluded kwa the program. So you find someone is being given a pad. He goes with the pad to the house. The elder sister pick it. Anaambiwa we ni mdogo.
Yeah.
Utaambiwa vinatumia. Or unaambiwa use one leaf for the whole day for a girl. So we need to do a lot. We really need to do a lot on the ground. Actually, the reality there is worse, is bad. Yeah, I think either the government or the stakeholders, we need to see a way of having these ones, these sanitary towels, to be accessible, and maybe we engage too much in issues of wash, the wash program.
Oh yeah.
It should reach the grassroots. Isikuwe tu iko tu huko juu, and maybe other areas like hiyo Wajir. It should be even within urban setups. Yeah.
Tony, you're very keen.
I think
Tell me what you think.
for me,
What are you thinking about it?
For me, and history will tell. For me, we need to do a thorough root cause analysis of menstrual inequality. A root cause. Because what you're doing is scratching the surface. Just to add on to what Eunice said. A girl will pick a pad and go home, but in the hierarchy of needs, a pad is not as important as food. Pads are exchanged for packets of unga. Because food in the hierarchy of needs comes first, and not the pad. Then girls now resort to alternative and safe practices of managing their menstrual cycles. Of course, you understand the effect of that.
Yeah.
Infections, and then being hospitalized. And then it eats into the family, the small family income, and the cycle continues. And then we wait for another May, like she has said, and we talk about the same issues. So the root cause analysis will probably give us ideas of who is most affected. What are the issues? What are the barriers? If the barriers are the taboos, how do you address the taboos? So if you look at it structurally, at community, at family level, there's something that needs to be done. At community level, there's something that needs to be done. At institutional or organizational level, there's something that needs to be done. Then at policy level, there is something that needs to be done. So really, when I talk about availability, access, affordability, all these issues are advocacy in nature. And that is why I said we need to be intentional in how we look at this thing. But a root cause analysis will probably dig up the issues because the way we are, like I said earlier, we're commodifying the issues of menstrual hygiene and forgetting about the things that really matter. And then we engage in affirmative programs that now address the gaps. Whether it is access, who is affected and we're able to, whether it is the commodities, how do we ensure that for those families or for those girls and women who cannot be able to access them, they are available within community. For example, the government can use a school or an organization like Family Bridge of Hope as a distribution point. And we're able to account for how many girls picked it. But beyond the commodity is the message that goes with the pads. Because you need to assure, a girl needs to be assured that each month they're able to access the commodity. And that the issue, like I said, the issue of the root cause also must address the inequalities with access to water. Where we come from, water is rationed.
Yeah.
Okay. In some communities, there's no water. Where people have to walk for long distances, so they have to buy. Like if you buy water, and how many times do you need to take a shower in a day? In the morning and the evening. And then someone says, no, you can only take a shower once
a day.
because the rest of the water is, I don't have extra money to go and buy another jerrycan of water. So we are not going to have a healthy conversation about menstrual hygiene and addressing these inequalities without addressing the issue of wash. Go to school sanitation facilities. How do the girls, for those who have, how do they dispose of the sanitary pads?
And they used to want, yeah.
When we were coming this way, we saw a group of cows in the city. And Eunice was saying, they have to go and look for something.
Yakula.
Yakula. And in the process, they also encounter pads.
Yes, true.
And then these cows are milked. Or they are slaughtered, and then we take the meat.
Yeah, it's the truth.
So how do we dispose of the sanitary pads? Are we hygienic in the way we do that? And that is why I'm saying, for me, we cannot have a health conversation about menstrual hygiene without talking about water and sanitation. They are tied at the hip. Okay. And this is the conversations that we need to take to the policymakers, that as you plan for the communities, but ensure that the girls are able to take a shower. Two, there are other commodities that make the menstrual cycles a good experience. You issue a pad and the girl has no panty.
Okay.
So how do you, where are you going to place this pad?
True. Yeah, ataiweka wapi.
Yeah, sure.
And that you're donating one panty. That means they have to wash and wear.
Yeah, wash and wear.
They wear when it is wet. You understand where we're coming from. That's why for us, we look at the entirety of menstruation, as it were. And even when we request for support, we only request for not only the in-kind, but we also ask for the software. That Wambui, can you come and speak to the girls about your experiences and what you know about menstrual hygiene? Because that goes a long way. If we could have another 10 Wambuis within a geographical area, then it means girls have access to messages. The third issue that I wanted to talk about is this. Media is an integral part of this conversation.
Fourth state.
Because media is the one that amplifies the voices from the community level, so that the policymakers are able to take certain actions to ensure that the aspects of access, availability, and affordability are addressed. And therefore, as an organization, for us, even within the Alliance, we believe in amplifying the voices of girls and women who are vulnerable, including the displaced populations, because we also work with refugees who have no access to income generating opportunities. So that, because they are human, and the issue of menstrual hygiene is what brings dignity to them, we treat them as humans, not as displaced people. And even for us, we don't call them refugees, we call them community number 46, because they are part and parcel of us. That way, we dignify them.
That's a good one.
Yes,
That's
and when it comes to access, we also ensure that they're part and parcel. 2, there is no program that the Alliance or even Family Bridge of Hope can engage in without the persons with disability. Because for them, how do you ensure that access also is geared towards their different abilities? Because you'll find someone, when it comes to messaging, they have a hearing impairment. It means they don't even understand what you're saying. Have you invested in sign language? So these are some of the things we need to ask ourselves. That messages across board are able to reach the intended cohorts. At community level, we see action towards normalizing what? Menstrual hygiene, and making them part of the conversation, breaking the taboos because they act as barriers. At policy level, that the political leaders that we elect, the policy makers and policy implementers, are able to take quick action, because sometimes action is taken when it is too late. Damage has already been caused. And one of the things you realize is there's a nexus between the lack of menstrual hygiene messaging and products with the issues of teenage pregnancies. And that is a conversation that we need to take a deep dive into, because the lack of a pad can lead to a pregnancy, but someone may not understand how.
True.
But we live in communities where these things are happening. A girl will go to some guy who has some money, or because in the household they are not able to. And if the girl is promised this is going to happen every month, then of course, why not? In the process, you find that relationships grow that are sexual in nature, and you end up having teenage pregnancies. So when you address menstrual hygiene, you're also addressing the high prevalence of teenage pregnancies, because they have a correlation.
Yes, they're correlated.
Yes.
Now, just talking about dignity, because you mentioned about dignity, and I love that we have mentioned that. And maybe before we even get to dignity, you have mentioned about availability, access, and affordability. So as I had put, because I'm still relying on the questions that I had put out there. So somebody asked, why do we have condoms that are free? And we don't, Eunice, you told me that pad size, how much is pads as at now?
We have up to 200, up to 190 something, 180 something.
Yes, and now somebody was asking, like, can't we have free pads? That is what somebody asked in the questions, as I had asked that particular question. So they asked, maybe ask your guests today, when it comes to policies, because we've talked about, having these conversations, can't we have free pads?
I think that is something we, as stakeholders or a community or policymakers, we should make it to be free, because it is very essential compared to the condoms. Because something like having sex, you can choose.
True.
Yeah, you can choose. But periods, it is something which is there. So onto the policymakers, it is something we should work on and see that these things are given freely to schools, even to the Tony said something, and the neglected ones.
Yes.
The forgotten.
The forgotten ones, sorry.
I still remember. We'll still come back to that conversation.
So these things should be given freely, and it should be like, we need to have the dropping points where women can access these things freely. Even men, they can take to their spouse or daughters. Yeah.
Because I used to see even in schools, like we used to have the banks, the pad banks, but they're not there anymore.
They're not
because
there.
you could just go and get your one pad, your two pieces, but then again they're not there anymore. But the condoms are still there. for the boys. So like that is still a conversation that we need to still, have that conversation, because even when it comes to the menstrual cups, back to accessibility of water, how I can be having the menstrual cup, but then again, I'm not able to access water. Now what happens to, even to the sanitary part of it? Maybe somebody also talked about, let me go back to the question that I had asked Tony before, or the one that I had asked, and then Tony can tell us about remind us that name again, Tony. The word that you're using for the street kids.
The forgotten.
The forgotten.
Yeah.
So the question was now for the people listening and seeing, for them to understand maybe where that conversation is coming from. So it was okay, so the question was, a lot of people think of helping starts and ends with the donating pads. But what does real long-term menstrual justice and support look like beyond that?
This is what it means. It means we have clear messaging for different cohorts, because we have girls, we have women of reproductive age, we have men, we have faith leaders, and so on and so forth. So clear messaging is very key, because you're dealing with the software. Once I have knowledge on why, it answers the what, the where, how, and what have you.
Yes.
And then at policy level, and this is where we really need to have the conversation. Show me a budget line. Yeah. Even us as organizations. Show me a budget line and a budget code for messaging, for products, the complete continuum of products that includes, hygiene is hygiene. Toothpaste, it's part of hygiene.
So,
It is part of self-esteem. Petroleum jelly.
Yeah.
Okay. Hata kama ni Arimis.
Yeah. True.
Mafuta. The beauty of a girl. That I'm clean, ndani. I'm clean. I glow. Because girls and women are about beauty. Look at the simple things like the panties I was talking about. And the toilet soap. Okay. The detergents that you can be able to use to wash whatever you have. Look at the commodity itself now. But do we discuss these things at policy level? At household level, what comes first? You'll find that in certain communities, in certain homesteads, the conversations about menstruation do not feature, because they are not important. They are not as important as school fees. They are not as important as someone talking about going to buy food in the market and things like that. But the same communities, you'll find them in church, praying for miracles. I don't know whether they pray for menstrual hygiene products and so on. But I wish we could go beyond the conversations we're having, whether at household level, to ensuring that access is guaranteed by way of budgetary allocation. And speaking of the forgotten communities, I want you to think of a day, as you are now aged, you are a young woman. Think of a day when you saw pads being distributed in the streets to the street families, panties, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, these things. When was the last time you saw someone do this?
Hata mimi mwenyewe, have I ever contributed? Can't remember. I've never even seen.
So these are the forgotten that I'm talking about. Like I said, we also work with refugees. We need to recognize that refugees are part and parcel of our urban life. And when we talk about security, when we talk about access to health, when you talk about access to education, you must also be able to include them intentionally. Some run away without documents, and you're asking them for documents. You go to organizations like UNHCR, it takes a process to be able to document a refugee. That in a way also limits access to some of these services. There's a language barrier because some came with their Swahili. Do you know their Swahili? Their Swahili is Swahili, broken Swahili, and the native languages of where they've come from. Coming here, and we are speaking a lot of English, and Shen actually becomes a barrier. So even in terms of messaging, for us, what we do, we're even forced to use Google Translate to French, even to their local languages, so that the aspect of inclusivity is addressed. So it is very important that even as we talk about access, we're also able to remember about some of these populations because they are vulnerable in terms of economic access. They cannot, because that is the reason why they're in the streets. That is why they are called displaced people. But even in our plans and policies, we must be able to plan for this. I know the Nairobi County has a policy on inclusion of refugees, but again, in the economic affairs of Nairobi. But beyond the aspect of economic inclusion is the aspect of even planning for these populations to ensure that they also can access these commodities and the services and the messages that go with it. If we are able to do that in the streets, someone doesn't choose to be in the streets,
Sure.
but can we take the services to the streets even as we also plan on how to get them out of the streets so that you don't end up having children born in the streets, a girl having menses in the streets, not knowing what to do or where to access some of these products. Because it also contributes to the health burden. Because at the end of the day, if someone is infected because of lack of access to water or a pad, then it means the state has to take over the costs of ensuring that the health of this particular individual woman or individual girl is guaranteed. And therefore, the cost could have been lesser if we were intentional in terms of how we address these issues, because it has a cyclic effect, bigger and wider than you and I can imagine while we're seated here. So it is important that beyond the conversation, we also become intentional in our actions towards addressing those gaps identified. And that is why, like I said earlier, why don't we engage in a conversation that identifies the root causes and places responsibilities on certain individuals or organizations and state agencies to be able to address those issues within given timelines and report for results or lack of results thereof. And that is how you hold people accountable. For me, we don't have to punish our women and girls. We need to work with them. Some of this, the journey, the menstrual journey, some of it is psychological, some of it is emotional. We need to strengthen families, community level structures so that they're able to work with these girls and women at school level. When did you see teachers in a meeting discussing about
Even the clubs are nowadays gone.
the menstruation,
the
the school health clubs, where are they?
I don't think they're there anymore.
Do you hear about them anymore?
No, we don't.
So these are structures that need to be strengthened. And then, can we have a part for emergency, for example, in a staff room in class, and ensure that the washrooms have water, they have bathrooms, and they have bins so that the girls can be able to dispose. Because there are girls who experience heavy menses.
Yeah.
In a day, they can even change their pads even thrice.
Yeah. True.
They have to have this in the institutions, and so that learning is not interrupted. And that is when you talk about equity. So equity is an issue for me that needs to be addressed. And if you have to address it, like I said, we have to be intentional in terms of how we look at these menstrual issues.
I love that you're still taking this conversation back to intentionality, because the minute you're all intentional, even with our messaging, even with our advocacy, with our campaigns, then we can be able to just, bring the conversation. And how do we bridge now this, from people to policy? Because now we keep talking and having these conversations, but now how do we bring these conversations and turn them into action? Because that is what we need.
Sure.
Maybe now, because you're almost coming to the end, hey, this was nice. Maybe let me just come back to you, Eunice. How did family, your organization, get into partnership with the Sauti Alliance?
Yeah, back in 2023, 2024, if I can remember clearly. I think we do the same, we have the same, we call them pathways, where we handle issues of gender-based violence, we respond, and prevention of gender-based violence. That's how we came up to be with the Positive Young Women. Then after there, it gave birth to Sauti Moja Alliance. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe you can just tell us, in this conversation that we're having, or there's somebody who asked a question as we wind up. So somebody asked, maybe ask your guest, if you could change one thing about how society in Kenya approaches periods and menstrual health, what would it be? If you could change one thing about how society in Kenya, I think I would take from Tony's word, be intentional. Intentionality. I think that is one thing, because I feel like we are really not intentional, especially with our kids, with our children in this country, because we've seen what is happening in the social, in our communities. I think if we were to become more intentional, then we will really bridge the gap when it comes to just having a period-friendly world. Yeah. Tony, do you have anything to add to that? If you could change one thing, na usirudie yetu, hiyo ilikuwa yetu ama ilikuwa yake. If you could change one thing about how society in Kenya approaches periods and menstrual health, what will it be?
Like I said, there is the discussions around menstrual hygiene are discussed in low tones and mostly by women. Because they're the ones who experience this. For me, I want the issue of menstrual hygiene to find a space on the table. On the table, whether at family, whether at school, everywhere, in churches, at policy-making level.
Yes.
That it occupies central space, the focal point of what a woman's dignity means, what a girl's dignity means, must be the focal point. Because then we can elevate the dignity of the woman, the dignity of the girl in these conversations. Unless and until we do that, we'll still be talking about the same issues year in, year out, about, this year's theme is this year's theme is this. So much so that you and I still find ourselves talking about, we were talking about access last year. We are still talking about access this year. Next year we'll still be talking about access. Then it means someone somewhere is not working.
Yes, and change is not happening.
Yes. And the last point, I talked about media. Media is a very strong ally. I mean, I look at media as God-given, God-sent. Because when I talked about amplifying voices, it is about amplifying the voices of those young girls, those young women, the forgotten, the marginalized, the underserved. If we are able to amplify those voices, then they will make meaning. Probably they'll trigger action. So that beyond the voices, the voices have to end at a certain table. It could be at Womboy's table, Tony's table, Yoni's table, or Juma's table. Someone somewhere must be compelled to take certain actions to ensure that there is menstrual equality across the world. Because, like I said, menstrual hygiene is not about shame. It's about dignity. It's about safety. It's about equality. It's about transformation. It's about you ensuring that woman stands up and she's able to go to work comfortably. It's about you and I discussing about these things in a matatu and nobody takes fault about it. That is where we need to elevate the conversations to. So yes, even the pulpit. Like, can you put the Bible aside, kidogo?
And talk about
we discuss about these
hygiene.
things. Yeah. So if we're able to do that, probably that will be seen to be moving towards a world where the dignity that is associated with menses is restored, that you and I feel safe discussing about these things in our household, in community spaces, without anybody looking at us like, hello, what are you talking about? But beyond those conversations, like I said, it's also the intentionality that I talked about, that we are able to appropriate resources to ensure that equity and equality are addressed. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Maybe I can just come back to you, Eunice, and maybe just for that young person who is listening or somebody who is watching, what are some of the practical ways that they can create to ensure and rather just be part of this conversation and to create a period-friendly world? Practical ways for the young person who is listening and who is watching.
The practical way is one, I would say, we start the conversation. The conversation should not stop. We make the conversation to be so friendly, even from the younger age onwards. So I think the practical way, and another one, another practical way is we need to express this or give them like the example, show them how the pads and walk through how the pads are being used and how we walk them through the journey of menstruation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good one. Now, using one word, Tony, using one word when it comes to period-friendly, together for a period-friendly world. Give us one word. How does that word look like for you? Using one word or one sentence, how does that word look like for you?
Dignify.
Dignify.
Yeah.
It's a good word. Eunice.
Inclusivity.
Inclusivity.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Intentionality. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Intentionality,
Yeah.
inclusivity, and dignifying. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you coming here. We've really had a beautiful conversation. And
pleasure.
when it comes to, you can say something as you wind up, something last. You can tell them something about menstrual hygiene, menstrual health. I don't know why I keep saying menstrual hygiene day. What is that? Like the theme, not even the theme, it's menstrual hygiene day. I'm right?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know why I was doubting.
You missed the word international.
Oh, international. Yes,
It is being
I think.
celebrated globally.
Yes, I think it's about international.
Yes. So it's for me, I'd say this: that year in, year out, we celebrate these days, but we seem to be talking about the same old issues, the same old problems. It's now time to move to action.
Yes.
And ensure that whatever challenges that have been mentioned are addressed. And we can address this not in silos, but we can address them by working together. So that is where partnerships are very key.
Yeah.
Because we bring in different strengths to bear on the final result, which is access, which is equity, which is affordability. If each of us did what we are supposed to do within the context in which we work,
These things will be
then we wouldn't be repeating the same issues year in, year out.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Eunice.
Yeah, just to wind up, this is a call for everyone, a call for the policymakers, the stakeholders, the organizations, even the government. We should work and see into it that the root cause is solved so that we don't keep on repeating the same messages year come, year go. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So let us be intentional and, move this conversation from just conversations to actions. Because the minute we are intentional and, we come together. Because the way we have mentioned about, even when it comes to Sauti Moja Alliance, we want collaboration and partnerships. Because we don't work in silos the way they have mentioned, but we want to work together to make sure that at this conversation, what happens after we're having these conversations? How do we now turn the ideas and the conversations into action? So let us be intentional and ensure that, women and girls, especially young women and girls, they are protected, and dignity comes first when you're having these conversations.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Until next time, same day. See you. My name is Wamboy. Asante.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.